Take a slow, steady breath. In through your nose. And out through your lips. Allow your body to soften, wherever you are lying or sitting. Feel the weight of your limbs as if they are gently sinking into the surface beneath you. With every exhale, release a little more tension, from your shoulders, from your jaw, from the small muscles around your eyes. There is no need to hold on to the day any longer. Whatever has passed, has passed. This is your time to drift into peace, to rest, to allow your thoughts to wander like soft clouds moving slowly across a medieval night sky. Imagine the faint glow of candlelight flickering in the distance, a gentle flame that calls you inward. And as you watch this glow in your mind's eye, your breathing steadies, your heartbeat softens, and your thoughts begin to quiet. And so, with your body calm and your mind open, let us begin our story. Our story today begins in a place of stone and shadow. It begins inside a cathedral that is not yet complete. The air is cool, carrying the scent of lime mortar and newly hewn rock. Half-finished arches stretch upward, their ribs meeting high above in the skeletal promise of a vaulted ceiling. Dust floats in the air like pale gold, drifting lazily in beams of moonlight that slip through open windows without glass. It is evening now. The workmen have gone. The clamor of hammers and chisels has quieted. All that remains is the hush of night, and the presence of one solitary figure. He is a mason. His hands are rough from years of shaping stone. His clothes carry a fine layer of dust that never seems to leave him. And yet, his eyes are gentle, eyes that look not only at blocks of limestone and sandstone, but at the dream of what they will become. He is alone tonight, but not lonely. The cathedral is his companion, its unfinished walls rising around him like an ancient friend still learning to speak. He sets down his chisel, its tip worn from the day's work. And then, with care, he strikes flint to steel. A spark leaps, and soon a flame catches the wick of his small lantern. The lantern glows with a soft, golden light, its flame flickering behind thin panes of horn. It is not bright enough to banish the night, only enough to make the darkness tender, welcoming, safe. The mason places the lantern upon a block of stone. The glow spreads outward, catching the suspended dust motes in the air. They shimmer like tiny stars, constellations swirling slowly in the stillness. Listen to the quiet. A hush so deep that you might notice the soft tap of a single grain of dust settling onto the floor. The faint murmur of wind outside, brushing past scaffolding poles. The sigh of ancient timbers as they cool in the night. Breathe gently here, as if you too are part of this cathedral, rising and falling with the air that moves through its open spaces. And if you lean closer to the walls, you may see something curious. Carved faintly into the stone are little marks, hidden signatures. The mason's hand has left more than square and compass lines. He has left prayers. Tiny crosses, spirals, stars, even initials. Such things were common in the Middle Ages, little hidden inscriptions left by builders, perhaps for luck, perhaps as a whisper of their presence to those who would never know their names. Each symbol is a secret. Each line in the stone is a reminder that even the hands who worked in silence longed to be remembered. As you imagine these soft carvings in stone, notice how your own body feels heavier. Your breath slower. Your thoughts gentler. It is as though the cathedral itself is inviting you to rest, to place your worries like chisels set aside, to light your own lantern and simply watch the glow. The mason moves slowly, his steps quiet on the dusty floor. He sets his lantern on one ledge, then another, as if to let each unfinished corner of the cathedral taste the glow of flame. And wherever he places it, shadows stretch long, reaching upward like soft brushstrokes upon the wall. Outside, the village sleeps. Roofs of thatch huddle under the stars. A dog curls by the embers of a hearth. Somewhere, an owl hoots, its wings whispering against the sky. But here, inside these walls of stone, time feels slower. It feels as though centuries are folding gently upon one another. The stones remember the quarry, the earth from which they came. The mason remembers the first day he laid one block upon another. And now, in this hush, you too are invited to remember nothing at all, to let go, to drift, to rest. The lantern flickers. Its light dances across carved columns, tracing half-finished saints and angels, their faces still locked in rough outlines. The mason touches one with his fingertips, as though greeting an old friend still waiting to be born. He breathes softly, his exhale mingling with the hush of the flame. It is said, in the old tales, that a flame can carry a prayer upward, curling into the night like smoke toward the heavens. And so perhaps his lantern is more than light, perhaps it is a vessel of hope, carrying quiet wishes into the stillness. And if you close your eyes now, you can almost feel the warmth of that glow upon your skin. A gentle heat, not too strong, only enough to remind you that you are safe, you are sheltered, you are held by the hush of stone and night. The mason hums softly, a tune half-remembered from his childhood. It echoes against the stone, low and calming, as if the cathedral itself is humming back. Let your body grow heavier now, like the stones resting firmly in place. Let your breath grow deeper, like the night surrounding the lantern's glow. Let your thoughts become softer, like the dust drifting slowly in golden air. The lantern of the stonemason continues to glow. It will not go out. And with its flame, you are safe to drift further, deeper, closer to sleep. Take another breath now. Slow and quiet. The air flows in, cool and calming. And flows out, soft and gentle. With each exhale, notice your body settling further. Like a stone finding its place within a wall, you too find your place in this moment. Secure. Supported. Safe. The world outside may turn, but here in this cathedral of story, time slows. It stretches, lengthens, and then melts away entirely. And so we return. Back to the lantern. Back to the mason. Back to the half-built cathedral resting under a medieval sky. The mason lifts his lantern once more. The flame wavers as he moves, its glow bending around columns and arches. Each step leaves a faint print in the dust, temporary marks that will vanish when morning comes. He walks along the nave, where someday worshippers will gather. For now, it is only scaffolding and silence. Yet even silence has its music. The lantern hums softly. The stones hold their breath. The night presses gently against the walls. On a pillar near the choir, the mason kneels. His calloused fingers trace a small symbol he carved weeks before, a mason's mark. In the Middle Ages, each stonemason left a mark, a simple sign, like an artist's signature. Some were crosses, others triangles, arrows, or circles. These marks helped identify the work of each man, but they were also seen as charms, carrying luck, carrying blessings, carrying whispers of identity through centuries. This mark he touches now is shaped like a star. 5 points, drawn with careful lines. He does not need to see it, his hand knows it, his memory knows it. And so, too, perhaps your body knows what it feels like to rest. To be recognized. To carry your own quiet mark of presence in the world. The lantern's glow shivers against the stone. Shadows of scaffolding stretch like ladders climbing toward heaven. The unfinished arches look like ribs of a sleeping giant, protecting all who rest beneath. The mason breathes slowly. And you breathe with him. Each inhale draws the glow closer. Each exhale lets it expand into calm. He sets the lantern on a wide ledge. The flame sways, brushing golden color across the wall, where a carving of a saint is only half revealed. A face waiting to emerge from stone. A story waiting to be told. Stone remembers. The mason knows this. He has often said that when he chisels into rock, he is speaking to it, coaxing out its hidden song. Once, he told an apprentice. These blocks have waited millions of years in the earth. Now, they wait only a few more seasons before they rise into walls. If you listen closely, you can almost hear their patience. And so tonight, in the lantern glow, he listens. He lays a hand against the cool wall. The stone hums faintly, though perhaps it is only his own pulse echoing back. But whether real or imagined, the hum is gentle, reassuring. Like the heartbeat of the earth beneath you, steady and constant, reminding you that you too belong. That you too are held. Outside the half-built cathedral, the village sleeps. The thatched cottages are dark, their fires banked low. Only a few embers glow in hearths. Somewhere, a watchman walks the muddy lane with a lantern of his own. Its horn panes glowing like a small sun. He hums a tune to keep himself company. In the fields beyond, sheep sleep curled close. Their wool gathers dew. The night air is cool, edged with the scent of hay. And above it all, the stars burn clear. For medieval skies knew no haze of modern light. Only endless constellations. To the villagers, each star was both map and mystery. A reminder of stories older than stone. But here, within the rising cathedral, the mason continues. He does not carve tonight. Instead, he only walks. And breathes. And lets the lantern light bathe the walls. Everywhere he places it, the glow reveals details. A curl of foliage chiseled into a capital. The suggestion of a wing in half-formed relief. A line of mortar still rough from drying. He pauses often, his body still. As though listening to voices that no one else can hear. And perhaps he is. Perhaps the cathedral itself is speaking. Not with words. But with silence. With the peace that fills a place destined for prayer. The dust continues to drift in the glow. Tiny golden flecks, each one caught in its own slow descent. Watch them with your inner eye. They float like stars falling from heaven. Like thoughts loosening from your mind. Like worries settling into stillness. The lantern flame trembles. It leans left, then right, then returns again. Always steady, never extinguished. So too does your breath. It may rise and fall, wander and return. But it remains steady, alive, calm. In medieval thought, every cathedral was a prayer in stone. To raise walls upward was to raise the soul toward the heavens. Every arch, every pillar, was meant to echo eternity. The mason knows this. Though his hands are rough and his clothes simple. He carries within him the knowledge that his work is not just stone. It is hope. It is faith. It is a gift for those who will stand here long after he is gone. And so, each night, he tends his lantern as one might tend a candle at an altar. Not for himself, but for the future. For those yet to come. And as you imagine him standing there, lantern in hand, you too may feel the sense of being part of something larger. Something steady, timeless, enduring. Your thoughts may come and go. But like carvings in stone, peace remains. Your body may shift and sigh. But like a lantern flame, your calm endures. Breathe in. Breathe out. And sink even deeper now. The mason sets the lantern down once more. Its glow lingers on the half-carved saints. On the scaffolding. On the marks left by his own hand. Then he lowers himself onto a stone block. Folds his rough hands in his lap. And simply watches the flame. Minutes drift into hours. The night deepens. And the golden glow hums on. Soft, steady. An anchor in the hush of stone and sky. And with that glow, you too may rest. You too may drift. You too may close your eyes and let the lantern keep watch. Carrying your dreams upward. The owl has flown on. Even the watchman has gone quiet. The stars will slowly above. Orion lifts his bow. Cassiopeia reclines in her throne. And the Milky Way stretches like a river of light across the heavens. Medieval folk often believed the Milky Way was a path of souls. A shining road to the other world. Perhaps the Mason thinks of that now. As he lifts his lantern toward the dark sky glimpsed through the open windows. His little flame is like a star of its own, answering the vastness above. And as he lifts the lantern, you may feel yourself lifted too. Your breath lighter. Your thoughts drifting upward. As though you are one with this cathedral in the making. Imagine your body as stone. Firm, solid, resting. Imagine your thoughts as dust. Floating, shimmering, drifting downward. Imagine your breath as flame. Steady, warm, eternal. Stone. Dust. Flame. You are all three at once. And together, they lull you deeper. The Mason lowers the lantern and walks toward the choir. He stops before a rough block of stone. One that will soon be carved into a figure of a saint. He studies it. Head tilted. Eyes soft. To most, it is only a block. But to him, it is possibility. He sees the faintest outline of a face within. He imagines the folds of a robe. The bend of a hand raised in blessing. And in the lantern's glow, the block seems to stir. Not in movement, but in suggestion. As though something inside is waiting patiently to be revealed. He does not lift his chisel tonight. The work will come with the sun. But for now, he honors the silence of stone. The patience of forms still hidden. In the medieval world, builders often worked with the sun. The day began with the first light. And ended when dusk fell. But sometimes, a mason would stay behind. Not to labor, but to watch. To let the quiet cathedral show itself in its other life. Its life of night. Its life of lantern flame and silence. This was a rhythm the mason cherished. Day for the hammer. Night for the flame. And so, as you imagine him there, let your own body take on this rhythm. Day for effort. Night for rest. Day for movement. Night for stillness. Day for thought. Night for dream. You are in the night now. Safe to rest. Safe to dream. The lantern burns on. The cathedral waits. And your mind sinks deeper. Like stone settling softly into place. The mason lowers himself again. Sitting at the base of a column. He places the lantern beside him. The flame casts a circle of gold on the dusty floor. Within that circle, he feels cradled. He closes his eyes. Just for a moment. Outside, the stars move slowly. Inside, the flame watches faithfully. And as the mason's breath steadies, so too does yours. Slow. Soft. Peaceful. The lantern hums on. A quiet guardian. In the hush of stone and night. And so, beneath the high-ribbed arches of stone not yet finished, the stonemason's lantern glowed like a fragile heart within the sleeping cathedral. The world outside sank deeper into the blue hush of night, while within, the faintest shimmer of the flame revealed carvings half done, faces in the stone that almost seemed to breathe when the light moved across them. The mason leaned against a pillar, letting his shoulders rest after the day's labors. His tools lay neatly arranged, but silent now, their edges dull from long use. He whispered a quiet thought, not in words but in a rhythm as steady as his breathing. Each breath seemed to mingle with the flickering glow, so that the lantern and the man and the silence of the cathedral all shared one soft heartbeat. Perhaps, if you listen closely, you can almost hear it too, the hum of a lantern, the echo of dust settling, the gentle hush that says you are safe here. Our story continues with the mason, his eyes wandering over the walls. He knew, as all craftsmen knew, that a cathedral was never truly finished. For every arch raised, another would follow, for every stone set, 1,000 more waited their turn. It was like breathing, endless and patient. The work itself was prayer. With slow steps, he crossed to the far corner where scaffolding reached up like a wooden ladder into shadows. His lantern swung, scattering golden circles across carvings of vines and flowers in the stone. Some of these patterns hid secret marks, a mason's personal sign, small as a thumbprint, pressed into history. These little symbols were whispers of lives long gone, still present in the bones of the cathedral. He traced one with his finger, as though greeting an old friend. A circle, a line, a star. Each mark was a quiet plea, may this wall hold strong, may this tower never fall, may those who shelter here find peace. You might notice, dear listener, how comforting it feels to imagine this lantern's light, traveling across centuries-old prayers. Each flicker warms the air, and each prayer seems to hum softly, like a lullaby hidden in the stones. The mason sat down again, his back against a block of limestone. He set the lantern beside him, its glow brushing his cheek. Outside, an owl called from the rafters, wings brushing the beams overhead. It was as if the whole world, the tools, the owl, the lantern, the dust, was joining in the stillness. And so, in this calm, he began to dream awake. He imagined how the cathedral would look when finished, sunlight pouring through stained glass, colors spilling across the floor like a painter's palette. Bells would ring, echoing across the valley, and the town would gather, safe beneath arches he had shaped with his own two hands. Even now, in the hush of night, you can imagine it too. The colored light, the echo of bells, the hush of prayers, the lantern glowing steady and warm. And as you imagine it, notice how your own breath grows slower, softer, easier, like stone finding its resting place, like a lantern flame swaying in still air. The mason shifted the lantern closer, the flame glowing like a small star in the unfinished cathedral. Shadows leaned long across the half-carved pillars, stretching like soft brushstrokes painted by the night. His eyes followed the play of light, lids heavy now, as if the lantern's gentle glow had whispered directly to them, rest, breathe, soften. He touched the stone once more with the palm of his hand, the cool surface anchoring him in the present moment. He remembered how, as a boy, he would press his ear against stones to hear the murmur of the earth within. And tonight, as the lantern hummed its low golden song, he thought he could almost hear the cathedral itself breathing, patient and alive. Outside, the night breeze stirred faintly through the scaffold, carrying with it scents of damp earth, lime dust, and wildflowers from the fields beyond the town walls. The sound of leaves rustling in a far-off grove joined with the lantern's glow, weaving a lullaby of stillness. The mason's body eased into rest. His breath slowed. Each inhale carried the sweetness of cool night air. Each exhale let go of the day's weight, the chisels, the stones, the hours of labor. With every breath, his body learned how to float, weightless, as if sleep itself was carving him into a gentler shape. In his pocket, folded into a scrap of linen, was a tiny prayer he had written earlier in the day. Not in words, but in lines and marks, a secret sigil of safety carved onto parchment the way he carved into stone. He had hidden many such prayers in his work over the years, some behind pillars, some beneath steps, some carved into corners no one would ever see. He believed that one day, long after his hands were gone, the cathedral would still carry those quiet protections, holding the dreams of anyone who entered. Now, in the lantern's tender glow, he unfolded the linen and looked at the mark once more. Its curves reminded him of the arch above the unfinished door, strong yet yielding. He smiled faintly, his body swaying with drowsiness, as though the lantern had placed a hand upon his shoulder and whispered, "You have done enough, rest now." Our story drifts deeper still, deeper into the night where the lantern keeps watch, deeper into the cathedral's dream, deeper into the realm where your breath and the mason's breath mingle in the same slow rhythm. Every flicker of the lantern's flame is like a soft heartbeat, steady, warm, reassuring. Every hush of the breeze through the open arches is like a lullaby sung by the stone itself. And every moment you linger here, your body drifts closer, closer, into sleep.